I thought I would make everybody laugh by kicking off this live video. This is my second kitty. His name is Max. He's a little skittish, a little anxiety ridden, but he's kind of freaking out. He's like, why are you holding me like this right now? But he's one of my sweetie babies, things I love about working from home. And he rarely hangs out like right next to my desk. So I had to take advantage of that. Got off a client call a little early, and this is a topic I was thinking about earlier. So I wanted to pop on and just kind of cover it a little bit in case it might be helpful for you in your business or in your personal life. So to give you some context, I'm going to be covering like the whole idea of doing less and that actually being more, and that helping you in your professional as well as your personal life, because there are seasons where in order to expand in your life or in your company with your freelance business, whatever it is, you actually need to pull back on the amount of inputs that you have, on the amount of things that you're doing. And I am totally guilty of doing the opposite, like filling my schedule with meetings and responsibilities and things I need to be accountable for. And then it will eventually like bubble up to this point where I go, whoa, I need to pull back. And it's a habit that I tend to get into a lot. And I think a fair amount of entrepreneurs and freelancers are the same way, because we all tend to be workaholics a little bit because we love our business. But this last week, kind of a couple of things happened at once where I realized that it's actually time to pull things back a little bit in my freelance business and with the amount of inputs that are coming into my life. So first of all, it's been like impossible for me to get my email inbox under 100, like under 100 unread emails that I need to respond to all week. Like, even though I've carved out an hour the other day and went through it and responded, like by the time I had responded, all those people had answered back, and I was still, I'm like at 95 right now, and I've seriously been battling my inbox all week. And so I was like, oh my gosh, it's just like, I cannot keep up with all these moving parts and things like coming back and forth. So that was one thing. And then the second thing was this person I'm friends with, who I've actually worked with her multiple times in a one-on-one capacity and really liked her expertise and everything and gotten a lot out of it. Just started posting some really weird stuff on Facebook, and just like almost like just really inflammatory. It really surprised me with this person's general personality and approach to life, and just rubbed me the wrong way. And as I was sitting there like getting mad about it last night again for no reason, I'm like, why is she posting this? I had this revelation, and it's like these common sense things that come to you. It was like, why am I following this person? If this is not benefiting me in any positive way, there's no reason for me to be allowing this input into my life right now. Like, I'm choosing to allow that in. So I'm going through a major phase in my business where I am trying to simplify things and get things off my plate as much as possible, because it's becoming increasingly hard to manage a full slate, or what I would consider to be a full slate of clients, and also have this other business and be working on my dissertation and, just trying to live life in conjunction with all of that. So I'm trying to scale back and make things super easy. So sometimes we don't realize how much information we are exposed to on a daily basis, and how some of that is not good, or it's just one more thing competing for our attention. And it's really a drag. Like I always say, the only things we're in control of are our time and our energy. And you need to guard them both equally, right? Because if you're giving up your energy and allowing things into your world, into your brain, taking up rental space, and it's not positive for you, there's no real purpose being served there. So I took a break from this person on Facebook for a while, which I was like, why didn't I think of that sooner? Because it was just so silly that it was driving me that level of crazy. And I'm also working with a VA in my inbox to get rid of some of these emails, and not just get rid of the emails that have popped up that need my attention, but come up with better systems for answering them in batches, which is how I tend to work with everything else in my business. And it's always felt like email is this untamable beast. I'm also unsubscribing from a lot of stuff. And if you are feeling overwhelmed, like information overload, the thing I liken it most is when you walk into Disney World, you walk into the Magic Kingdom, and there are so many things going on at once. Or you go on the Las Vegas Strip. There are so many sights, lights, sounds, smells, people. It can be overwhelming. Like, have you ever seen the baby in Disney World that has like never seen anything like this before? And they're honestly a little bit stressed out and on sensory overload because there's so many different things. So I feel prone to that. And I think as freelancers, we're always trying to gather and pull together information that's relevant for us. So we tend to get like way too much information coming to us. So for me, I've noticed that like the people whose email newsletters I read, there are about 5 of them that no matter what they put out, I will go and read it. They're just an excellent source of information. They have a tremendous amount to share. I always want to know what's going on in their world. I learn a lot from them. Usually I have some type of a professional relationship with the people too, just because I've been following them for so long. But other than that, I mean, I get hundreds of messages to, I have a specific email account that's sort of designated for all my newsletters so that it's not coming into my business account and being distracting. But there are like, I can't even get that inbox under 1,000 regularly. Just so many messages coming in, many of them newsletters that I leave unread because I intend to come back and look at them later. I never do, or I'm simply not getting enough value out of it. And I've taken that same approach and I'm applying it also to how I interact on social media and in paid platforms. So for a while now, I've been involved in multiple like academies or monthly groups where, you're paying to have access to it, and then you're interacting in a Facebook group or somewhere else. And only like 1 or 2 of these has really been beneficial for me. Only 1 or 2 is where I consistently want to show up. I'm just not getting enough value out of the other ones or not visiting there enough. So it was kind of this just revelation I had this week. Why am I on so many email lists that I don't read? Why am I in so many Facebook groups I don't participate in where I'm not drawing value from it? And, how can I get better at only allowing in the few key things that really serve me and help me and also just make me feel good and positive about the work that I'm doing? So this is what I would consider the first way that doing less is more. Cut down on the amount of information clutter that's coming into your world. And honestly, that may even include this group. Like you might be like, I don't know that I'm getting enough out of this group, or maybe this is just one more thing on my plate and I'm using it as an excuse to not pitch or not build my business. That's cool. Take a break for a while, leave the group, snooze notifications, like do what you need to do, because I want people to be really aware of how much we allow into our lives that we don't like cull through and figure out if this is really beneficial. Like, is your participation in a particular Facebook group or on somebody's newsletter list, is that actually serving you? Is it bringing value to your life? And if you have a lot of things on your plate right now, a lot of responsibilities, you're looking to go next level. Like I've recently incorporated working on my PhD dissertation back into my life. That takes 6 to 10 hours a week. Like some other stuff had to go in order for me to be able to make that a front and center goal. And cutting down on this clutter is hugely helpful. So like one thing I did in the email inbox where I had 1,000 messages and they're like all my newsletters and stuff, I deleted everything. I just started fresh at 0. And now I'm working with my VA to go through and unsubscribe me from stuff that maybe I signed up to once. I got a cool freebie. I read it maybe once a month, once every couple months. Not relevant, right? That's information clutter that's distracting me from the things I need to do. Sometimes the energy is off. It's that person on Facebook who posts annoying things or gross stuff. I mean, anyone on Facebook who shares like pictures of animals that have been abused, like I have to snooze them for a while, because that is just, it's such an energy draw to sign in and see that and then be distracted and be upset and get caught up in this stupid drama of like why you're interacting with this person, why you're a friend on Facebook or getting someone's email newsletter. So the first way that doing less is more is limiting your inputs. Limit your inputs to only the really key things that are benefiting you, that are helping you grow, people who hold you accountable, Facebook groups where you draw a ton of value, email newsletter lists where you love seeing the person's free content every week, where you're getting a tremendous amount out of your investment of the time to read it or listen to it. And that's really like number one. And then number two is it's the same exact concept, but it's applied in a different way. And it's doing less, actually doing less in your business, allowing you to get more done. And for me, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, that I tend to be a workaholic. Like if left to my own devices unchecked, I'll start working like 8 and then 10 hours a day, and then realize, oh my gosh, I don't really want to work 8 or 10 hours per day. That's not what I wanted. Why am I doing that to myself? So being more mindful of that and reeling it back when I notice that I start going towards that trend, or if I start getting headaches and I'm sitting too much and I'm uncomfortable, I'm working too much. So I've really made a conscious effort to work less and to budget time with the same like weight of appreciation as what I give to my clients' tasks and my business building tasks, to things like exercise, reading books, sitting there and doing nothing but writing in a composition book where I track like my mindset things and how abundant I feel and my gratitude and stuff like that. Budgeting that time in and really sticking to it, like it's very hard to do it because your inclination is, I'm taking time away from my business. How is me spending an hour sitting there and doing nothing, or learning from a new course, or listening to a podcast while I'm on the treadmill or taking a walk, how is that actually helping me? You'll be amazed at how quickly ideas come to you. So this morning is a great example as part of my commitment of doing less is doing more. And a mentor of mine sent me a 43-minute meditation that she created that she wanted me to listen to. I can hardly sit still for a 10-minute meditation. Like, all the meditations that I listen to are guided because I have too much ADD, and they're all like 5 to 10 minutes. That's my sweet spot. That's about how long I can consistently focus. And so when she sent me this, and like there was going to be a follow-up check-in about what I thought about it, I was like, oh man, this is going to be rough. 43 minutes. That is a big stretch over my typical max 10 minutes. And I sat there and I did the whole 43-minute meditation, and I had my notebook next to me. I always do, because even when I'm working during what I call a focused sprint of activity, something for my clients or building my business, random ideas come to you, stuff you need to buy at the grocery store, that other thing you need to do, the person's email you forgot to respond to get it out of my head but not give it mental space, I'll just scribble it down real quick and totally ignore it and not take action. So this whole meditation, it was like, okay, I had to keep bringing my brain back. I would start to drift. I'd start to get really distracted, start thinking about, why am I spending 45 minutes doing this when I have so much to do today, so many things that are due by tomorrow. And at the end of it, it was amazing. Like, I got probably 20 ideas for growing my business, and everything from helping my current freelance clients to new programs and courses I could create. It blew my mind. Like, because I specifically took the time to slow down and do less, I got a lot more out of it. Because the other way of doing things is spending 6, 8, 10 hours working straight. Your brain is fried at the end. You have no creativity left over. This is particularly true if you're a creative freelancer of any type. If you spend all day creating graphics or writing like I do, by the end of the day, you're like, I have no juice left over for my own personal projects. And you actually end up creating less. So that's something to really keep in mind as you kind of incorporate doing less is more in your business. So there's a question here, which I'm actually going live tomorrow to answer freelance questions. So I will respond to this question tomorrow. I'm going to go live around 12:30 Eastern, so a little less than 24 hours from now, and I will respond to that specific question about building your freelance business and kind of the mindset around that as well. So it's hard as you incorporate more into your life to think about doing less. You'll have more responsibilities. You want to keep marketing. You have a lot on your plate. You have clients you're accountable to, deadlines you need to meet. But I also notice that every time I take vacation, I come back more rejuvenated with better ideas, ready to hit the ground running. So I really advise that you do incorporate downtime in your days, build it in there, make it an inflexible part of your schedule to slow down, to stop, to do other things, to disconnect from the business a little bit, because if your tendency is to be a workaholic, that will just give you additional pressure. So doing less in these two ways, allowing fewer inputs into your world during a time when you're really trying to up level, you're trying to accomplish some very specific goals, and also doing less in terms of the actual hours you're spending in front of your computer or doing work, will do great things for you. Even if the only time you can budget in for that is 20 minutes to go take a walk outside. That 20 minutes is well worth it, because you may come back. You will, when your brain gets a chance to rest from being constantly asked to go, 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 ideas will pop into your mind that can solve a crisis or an issue. And this happened to me, now that I've tried incorporating this more, it's crazy how many times it's happened. I've forgotten how many times it's happened, but I have been stuck on something in my dissertation. One of the section, I chose to work on the hardest section first, because it's been driving me crazy for years to get this right. Literally 2 years I've been working on this one section. And this week I put in a really good effort on that section and then walked away. Like one night I just said, like 5 p.m., I am done with this for the day. I'm not returning to it again. And wouldn't you know, the next day, after my brain had had some time to digest these things, I found the missing piece that I needed, that I've needed to plug in for a very long time to keep working through this. I was missing, I just felt like there was a hole in a particular part of the paper and outline I was working on. And I finally remembered a quote from another author, and that led me to get the book that I needed to fix the hole. So when you take a break, you give your brain a chance to digest all of the inputs that you have been giving it, and then come out with a better result. And when you're doing this in conjunction with limiting those inputs in the first place, so you're deactivating yourself from the Facebook groups that you don't participate in and you don't get value from. You're unsubscribing from people's email list because you're not seeing the value, and it's serving to give you anxiety. It's clutter in your inbox, making you feel bad that you don't have time to read it. When like these, I was a part of 3 monthly membership programs designed to help freelancers. Well, I was only really finding one of those valuable, so I canceled the other 2. So consider that in the back of your mind as you go forward with your business, about how you grow things and how you succeed and build your business, and honestly your personal life too. What inputs are you allowing in? How much value are they bringing into your life? And then how much time are you building in to walk away from business concerns and to take a break from it and allow your brain time to gel?